Hey guys. So I had a couple different people kind of ask me for advice around how to get around AMP, and I kind of, since I've actually never been on this track in person before, I figured it might make sense to at least try to do something, because I think a lot of the advice I would give based on watching videos could be risky. I don't know. Granted, there's also a risk of doing this in the simulator too, but I did find what I think is a somewhat accurate-ish representation of the track in Assetto Corsa. I don't know, probably some 12-year-old kid drew this up, but comparing at least the track to what I've seen in a couple videos, it seems pretty good. I will say, if you haven't yet seen the video, the Randy Pobst video, he does kind of a narrated lap in a BMW. Definitely turn this off and watch that. That is a great tutorial. And then come back to this one. What I'll try to talk about here are some of the things that, to me, I think are kind of crucial that a lot of, especially newer folks, kind of miss. And that is not so much hyper-focused on, what point in the track do I get on the gas, get on the brakes, but more of what do you focus on? So where do your eyes look? A huge key to getting on a racetrack fast is using your vision correctly. I think a lot of people naturally, especially, if they are somewhat tense and a little bit nervous, tend to stare right in the front of the car. They'll be looking like right here, like you kind of see this yellow dot, and they're not looking out here. And you really need to make sure that you are focused out ahead. And the first couple times you do it, it's going to feel really unnatural, but I promise you that's kind of the way to go. So I thought I would talk through this this way to kind of give an illustration. The cool thing is, I can actually do this in virtual reality, so I can turn my head. It's also got this cool little yellow dot, so I can try to use this to narrate as I talk through, and you kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. So here we are, AMP. On the front straight. Clearly this is an older rendition because the tower's not there, but this is coming down into the front straight, and the first kind of surprise moment is you can kind of see there's a crest and you're driving off into trees, because the track actually drops off pretty sharply at the end of the brake zone. So generally, from what I understand, especially in the higher horsepower cars, start thinking about the brakes by start finish, if not earlier, and then work up to going deeper, because what's going to be really crucial is that you get all your braking, kind of the load of your braking done very early in the zone, because as you go down the hill, gravity's going to be working against you and your brakes aren't going to work so great. So kind of see, there's your start finish. As you're braking, you can kind of already see the track's falling away. So as the track falls away, now you'll notice this is actually a really steep hill. It is a not hard left turn. It is way more than 90 degrees, and it folds all the way back over there to the left. So as you're coming in, pay attention to things like the track topography, so how the track is banked and curved. And as you get in here into turn one, you can actually see that there's actually some camber in here. So as the track kind of turns in, as you get to the apex, which is basically this blue curbing, and they put this nice little apex card here, which I think they do this in real life. I don't necessarily know that card's in the exact spot, but it's a handy reference marker. But you can kind of see how as the track dips down, there's actually some camber there. And so when there's camber there, that means there's grip. So that means that as you chuck the car down into this hole, you're going to get a lot of grip. The challenge is that as you exit the corner, right when you want to start putting the power down, you lose the camber. So the grip actually changes. So as you turn the car in, you get increase in grip as you roll through, but you're going to lose it as you come out. And since this is such a slow corner, you really want to make sure that you get the car deep down into the apex and get it rotated where there's the grip before you try to put the power down. So as you're coming in, you're looking for that apex, you're getting the car rotated, you've got to go back this way to the left. You really get the car turned in, and by the time you get to that apex, right, you're on it. Your focus, your eyeballs, once you're there, it's too late to do anything about anything happening here. You're committed. You've got the car rotated. You're going this way. Your eyes should be focused out here at the top of this hill. That's where you should be focusing. So once you start to get the car rotated, okay, I'm turning. Right? There it is. My whole head, my eye, I'm looking out the side window. You get the car in, you're at the curb. you're looking up here, and your focus, your focus, your eyes, your head, it's turned. You're looking here. Anything that's going to happen in this space as you're driving, that's your peripheral vision. It's too late to do anything about what you've done here anyway, so you want to focus on the exit as you head up that way. And again, now, as I talked about earlier, notice as you get in here, all that camber disappears, and now all of a sudden it's flat. And so as the car, you can chuck the car in, there's a little bit of camber there, but then it flattens out, and the car is going to want to push. So you want to get all of your rotation done kind of on that way in and help get the car rotated, and then as you're coming out, the car is going to want to run wide, but if you've got a lot of the wheel starting to unwind as you come through, now you can start looking up here at the top of the hill. All right, so now this, you're coming into the kind of turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 complex. So a little trick, turn 4, which is this one up here, is actually about in line with the apex for turn 2, which you can't see, but it's right around this crest. So as you're coming around, you're basically knowing it's somewhere ahead of where that apex is, but over here on the left. Now, the trick to this section is, while this is turn 2, this is turn 3 up here on the right, and this is turn 4 on the left, you're really treating turn 2 and 3 almost like a straightaway between the two. And this is your braking zone. So swallow up as much of the curb as you can between here and this turn 3, and this is going to be more or less, not perfectly, but more or less a straight line as you are braking across these rumbles here to get the car slowed down to make turn 4. So you'll see what happens. You come in here, all your braking happens, you get your downshift done, get some curb there, and again, what happens here? The track kind of flattens out. Like there's a little bit of a crest here, a little bit of a camber, it looks like. And then the track flattens out. And so you can actually see in the simulator even, the front end starts to wash. It loses grip as you kind of cross the center lane of this track here, and it kind of aims you at the grass. So if you got most of your slowing done here, you'll be all right, because you're basically going to be more or less coasting, crest over that hill there, kind of get the car thrown in. Now this corner here is one of the corners where you really, really need to exercise patience. There's two big corners here that need patience. This one, and then whatever that is, 12, 13, I think it is in the back, if I got my numbers right. So this corner here, again, it's super slow. You can kind of see it's 78 kilometers an hour, which is, I don't know, 45, 50 miles an hour, something stupid like that. And as you're climbing the hill, there's some grip because you're climbing the hill. But as you get up over here, you can kind of see it starts to flatten out. There's not a lot of camber here. As you're cresting a hill, you're going to lose some of the grip, and it's tight. So you're going to kind of want to just hold the inside here. And you can kind of see the car just wants to push. There's not a lot of opportunity to pick up a ton of speed. But the thing is, where you're trying to actually get to is way over here. You want to be way down there because that's where your turn 5 is over here. So as you're coming through here, you're kind of picking up a throttle. What I also like to do sometimes is I'll short shift. I go up a gear, and that makes it a little bit easier to put the power down and limit the torque to the rear wheels so that you don't have to be as precise with the throttle, because this is fairly tight. You've got a lot of input in the wheel, and you don't want to light up the rear end putting down too much torque. So again, as you come through, all right, by the time I'm really about the crest, my eyesight, I'm looking out here. My head naturally rotates. As I come through at the hill, I'm looking over here because this is where I want to end up. That's where I want to go. So I'm not really looking here. My peripheral's helping me here, but ultimately you kind of want to be not much further out than where I am. Maybe about the middle lane at worst case. But the actual apex, like, well, you kind of see there's this apex card here, and the curbing ends. I don't know how accurate this is, but you really want to be on the grass over in this area. So really, really, really late apex, because that's going to help open up turn 5 as you come down the hill. So you can kind of see how there's you can see how this road continues to go left. You want to be over here. So that's really where you need to be focusing through this whole way through the corner. So as you're coming through, short shift, right? Can put the power down a little easier. I'm looking left. I'm looking where I want to go. And you kind of see how you're basically apexing it on the grass here. Real nice. want to be there so that now it's a straight shot, nice and flat through there. Right? So eyes are up. I'm looking here, I'm looking here, I'm looking here, I'm looking there. And you're really trying to get the car down the hill. Now, as you come here, again, now it's a downhill, hard braking zone, gravity working against you for the first half. So you're basically on the way down the hill, and brakes aren't going to work as great because, again, you're coming down a hill. But, of course, there's a nice dip and a way up. So you kind of maximize, you kind of get less braking at first, but then you get a lot of extra braking on the way up the hill. Use that braking, especially once you kind of G out here. You'll kind of feel the car get sucked down a little bit, and in this gully here, that's where you're going to have extra grip because the G forces are pulling the car down as you're kind of crashing into this bottom lower part of the track here. And now as you come up, again, this is another really, really tight corner. And as you kind of see, you've got some nice camber here on the way in. But once you get up to about here, there's no more camber. In fact, you've got both a crest, which is going to work against you, and the camber goes away. So as you bank the car in here and you start to feel like you've got some grip, just when you start to feel some grip and want to add power, the track goes away from you. So what I've kind of figured out is, okay, again, you want to, come in slow, get the car rotated, apex as late as possible. So that really means try to square this corner up as much as possible. So really input on the wheel, get the car rotated. And by the time you about get to that apex, okay, you're going to make sure you're at the apex. You want to start looking out and to the right. And what I like to focus on, what I'm looking for is this hill. You can kind of see how the pavement rises up. That's what I'm looking at. So as I come through here, get the car rotated. Okay, as soon as you can kind of see that hill, you can basically start thinking about applying power and unwinding the wheel. Now, it's not full throttle. It's probably not even half throttle. But you can start transitioning to power because, as you can kind of see here, right? You're at this crest. Here's this crest right here. And it actually falls away. So you are going to lose grip as you come out. So that's why it's super important that you get all of your rotation done early where there's grip. So that by the time you crest the hill, you don't need all that grip. Now, sim, I slid it a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to do that, but in the real life, that's your risk to play. But yeah. So this corner here, fairly straightforward. Stay left as you exit, whatever that was, 6. Kind of up over the hill. This is 7. Then I think it's 8 is the little right-hander. And basically from here, the next apex is kind of over this hill, so you're going to kind of drive a diagonal across the track. Again, another heavy braking zone that you're downhill, so that's kind of working against you. This corner here is actually a fairly fast corner. It's not a very tight corner. The challenge is on the exit. Again, you lose all your camber, the track falls away, the track goes downhill. So as you kind of come around this bankment here, the track starts to drop. So ultimately for here, you want to turn in what's going to feel unnatural. It's going to feel a little bit early compared to, kind of most corners, just because you're trying to get as much of the curbing on this guy as possible to try and open up that corner and really maximize getting the car straight before you get to the edge of the track. So as I'm coming through here, my eyes, I'm looking for, you can kind of see that apex card there. I want to basically drive over that whole curb. So I'm going to aim for that whole curb and really try to get to that card or behind it with my left front tire. Now again, this car is probably not the most accurate. I think the track might be okay, but this car is pretty terrible. So you can kind of see the car wants to push. But you can also see there appears to be a little bit of camber in here, so there is some grip as the car comes in, but the camber flattens out right away. So if you get the car not fully rotated, you're going to struggle on the way out. So this is another one where, just like the previous hard right-hander, you kind of want to get all of your rotation done where there's grip and get that out of the way early so that once you pop out of here, the car is mostly straight and you're unwinding the wheel. So you can kind of see how that goes away pretty quickly. And now, if you look, the track's actually almost cambered to the right. So the track's actually going to want to throw you off the track to the right, which is going to work against you. And also, this is obviously a crest. So if you are not already completing your rotation and you're still fighting the car when you're all the way out there, you're going to have a bad time, because basically the car's already wanting to go this way. You're going to put your loaded right side off the track here, and then you're going to crest a hill, which is going to cause you more grip, and you're probably going to go exit stage left. So you don't really want to do that. So the point is, you really want to get through that corner correctly so that you can really carry your speed on the way out, get your rotation done early, and then it's just a simple unwind of the wheel to go down the hill. So this corner, this is another corner where, again, you're going downhill, but there's a nice little pocket down here to aim for that's going to give you some grip right at the apex. And again, another corner where it's important that you look where you go. So as you come through here, okay, I'm going to use my eyes to kind of set me up for where I'm aiming the car for. But once I realize I'm where I'm going to go, like I've got my target, the car's aimed that way, I'm actually focused up here. I'm looking up here with my eyes in my head. I've got my head turned, and I'm looking up the hill. So as I come through here, get the car set, hit the curb, boom. I'm looking up the hill. Really want to make sure that your eye's in the right spot, and you're looking up the hill, not out here, not where you don't want to go. Look where you do want to go, which is at the top of the hill there. It's another weird corner here. Again, another tight, slow corner with a crest at or just past the apex. You can't really see it when you're kind of climbing up the hill here. You kind of have to trust the input. When I come through here, I almost like to think of it as I'm almost trying to make like a U-turn off of this. You can kind of see how it looks like the track kind of swings left, and there's this sort of like flat hill here. So if I'm carrying some speed, my focus is actually, I've got my head turned, I'm looking back over here. I'm not looking at the track. I'm over here because I'm trying to like use my head to pull myself. This is where I want to go. So as we come in, get the car rotated, I'm looking hard right, and you can kind of see how it feels like that's too much, but then as you crest the hill, you realize the track continues turning right. And so from down here, it looks like the track is going to continue off this way, but actually the track is way over here. So your eyes are aiming at the top of the hill here, because that's where you want to end up. As you crest the hill, it's automatically going to kind of throw you. Again, the car you're cresting, the car gets light. It's a slow corner. You come up over, you're immediately greeted with this left corner coming up and over the hill. And as you can see, again, it's a crest. The car is light. It's kind of flat. In fact, it might even be a little bit off camber at the initial turn-in. But if you start to notice, if you have patience through here, you kind of wait to get on the throttle. Down in this area over here, there's camber. You're going down a hill, and you're going to be able to get a little more grip than you otherwise would, because you can kind of use that section with gravity to help pull you down into the track. So it's as you come through here, it's really tight, so it's patient. So again, I like to upshift a gear so that it's easier to modulate the torque coming through, and just start feeding it power once I know I'm about where I want to be. So once I'm here, the car is here, my eyes are actually focused out here, because this is where I want to be. I want to be out here. Looking here, if I look straight ahead, I'm looking at the wall, that's where I'm going to go. I don't want to go anywhere out this way. I want to go over here. So that's where my eyes are going. So as I'm looking this whole time through, back through there, I'm looking out the driver's window here, and I'm focused on this stretch of road out here. That's where I want to go. And I'm slowly feeding in the power to get there. Now, you can kind of see there's a nice dip. The track's flat, maybe even a little bit cambered in my direction, which is nice. And I have some grip. I can feed in power. But now, as you get up here, again, there's a crest. You lose grip. The track is now cambered outwards. So once you get to that crest, the car's going to get light. You're going to lose a little grip, and it's going to want to push to the outside. So now you're back to more maintenance throttle, gently accelerating, trying to keep the nose on line, and more or less holding the left side. Once you get to, I don't know if this is where this is in real life, but you can kind of tell that you're kind of at a flat spot. you can start to open up. Now, the other trick about this corner is it's a increasing radius. So the radius gets bigger, which means you can start to go faster once you kind of get through really that section here. It starts to open up, and the radius starts to open up. You can start to add power. You can start to pick up speed without really pushing the nose. It's just you get the topography here that kind of screws you up a little bit. So again, you kind of hear maintenance throttle. And then once you can kind of tell you're at the crest and it's going to start to go down, you can start to feed more power in. And now here you can see this is nice. This is downhill. This has got some camber to it. So again, there's lots of grip as you're kind of diving into this bowl here, coming down through this dip, this low spot here, and climbing back up the hill. There's grip there. Now, we're coming into turn 15, the 15-16 section, and this is probably, from what I've been told, one of the highest crash zones on the track because it's really fast. You're clipping pretty good here. I mean, whatever, I don't know how accurate this is, but we're doing almost 120 miles an hour as we're coming into here. And you kind of see it's a left, it's fast, and it's a quick flick to the right with a crest in the middle. So you want to be very deliberate. Whatever you do coming through this section back here, you want to make sure that you are all the way to the left and on that curbing, whatever you do back here, so you don't screw up 15-16. So on the left side there, and pretty much as soon as you're at the curb, start turning right. You can kind of see I did that here. Curb, turn right. And start looking for the tire wall. You can kind of start to see the curb show up. And really, I'd almost consider the apex the end of the tire wall. You can kind of see where the tire wall ends, the Armco picks up. You want to make sure you have as much room as possible because once you get to about here, the track flattens out, and actually as you get over the hill, the track cambers off to the outside, and so you are humping. You're carrying really good speed through here, and if you basically miss that apex and run wide on the way in, you're probably not going to make it through on the way out without having to lift, but you don't want to necessarily lift at a crest. So it's really crucial to get this corner right in order to get the next one right. You can kind of see how the track falls away here and the grip goes away. And so by the time you're at mid-track, you want to pretty much have that wheel unwound. I barely got any steering input here as I come across that crest, and I'm basically trying to drive the car straight down the track. All right, so that's one lap that kind of talked through. So I'll do a lap at speed and without pausing it, and kind of point through, where I'm looking. I'll use, I'll kind of turn my head and kind of show you where my eyeballs will be turning as I'm driving, just to help give you kind of an idea of kind of where you really should be focusing. And I think that will help guide you through a lap really smoothly when you're at pace. So braking down, looking for that apex. I'm looking left, power. Climb the hill, can't see anything. I know there is an apex over here, there it is. Straight through, brake in a straight line, get the car rotated, up the hill. Use gravity to kind of let the car grip. Patience, you're doing patience, short shift, look left, look for that apex all the way over there. Power all the way down the hill. Straight down the hill, brake, use that gravity, hard turn in. Again, you're looking, where's that apex? There's the apex, where's the hill? Focus on the hill, power out. Left, drift to the right, brakes down the hill. You want to turn early, looking for backside of that curve there. Let the car come on straight by the time you hit the crest. Again, down the hill, look for that curve, look up the hill. Look for your way up the hill. Okay, hard corner, I'm looking over here. There we go. Again, patience, I'm looking down the hill. This is where I want to go, maybe a short shift, let the power come in slowly. More or less run the inside. There's your lift-off point. You can feel the car get light. You're starting to go back down the hill. You can add power, feed power all the way through, down the hill, into the bowl, up the hill. There's your apex curve there. Look right, all the way through here. Straighten it out by the time you crest over. And there's your lap. So hopefully, some of that's helpful. Again, we can talk about this. Happy to chat with everybody in person at the track, and answer questions. But really, it's so much more about where you focus, and where your eyeballs are, and where your head is turned versus anything else. So, while I've got you here, one other thing I'll call it, and this is kind of why you like to do this, or I like to do this. If you look at where your eyes are focusing, this is actually a perfect spot for this. So if you are focusing right at the hood of the car, right in front of you, everything's going to look really fast. Everything's zooming by. So if you kind of just pay attention to what you see here, look at how fast that curving is zipping by. Look at how fast the pavement's zipping by. Everything's moving really fast. But if your eyes are focused up and ahead, look at how much slower everything else is moving. So you're focused out here. Look at how much more calm everything is. Things are moving less. You're not looking at the pavement here that's zipping by. So again, you're not looking at the pavement. Look up here. And so if you look up in front, everything slows down. So that's kind of what I want to try to convey for you guys, is that's what's important. Is it's really where you look. It's keeping your focus in the right places. And that really should kind of help you get around. All right, guys. Look forward to chatting with everybody.